The night was darker than usual, the storm outside rattling against the tall windows of the abandoned train station. A figure in a tailored navy suit sat huddled on a wooden bench, her hands trembling around her designer bag. She was Evelyn Hart, the iron-willed CEO of a Fortune 500 company, a woman who had commanded boardrooms, silenced critics, and built an empire from the ground up. But tonight, she wasn't a CEO. She was just a woman, scared, exhausted, and utterly alone. The last train had been cancelled because of the storm. Passengers had scattered quickly, hailing rides, calling friends, disappearing into the night. Evelyn's phone was dead. Her driver hadn't answered her calls earlier, and now she had no way of reaching anyone. For the first time in years, the woman who seemed untouchable realized how fragile she really was. "Please, don't leave me here alone," Evelyn's voice cracked as she called out to the few stragglers leaving the station. But they hurried away, too consumed by their own lives to notice her plea. That's when she saw him. A tall man in a worn jacket stood near the exit, his little girl, no more than 7 years old, holding his hand tightly. Her rain boots were mismatched, and her backpack had one broken strap, but her smile was bright even in the dim light. The man looked back when he heard Evelyn's trembling voice. Their eyes met. He hesitated, clearly torn between leaving with his daughter or answering the cry of a stranger. Finally, he stepped forward. "You okay, ma'am?" His voice was steady, calm. Evelyn blinked back tears she didn't even realize had formed. I don't have a way home. My phone is dead." Everyone just left, her usual commanding tone had vanished. Now she sounded small. Vulnerable. The man nodded slowly, then crouched down so his daughter could hear too. "Maddie, would you mind if we help this lady get somewhere safe?" The little girl looked at Evelyn, then at her dad, and without hesitation, she said, "Of course, Daddy. We can't leave her here." Something inside Evelyn broke. She had faced hostile takeovers, ruthless competitors, and nights of endless work without flinching. Yet it was the simple kindness of a child that made her heart ache. The man introduced himself as Daniel. He was a single dad, working 2 jobs to raise Maddie after his wife passed away 3 years ago. He didn't have much, but what he had, he gave freely. "Come on," he said gently. "Our car isn't much, but it's warm, and I'll make sure you get home safe." Evelyn followed them through the rain, her expensive heels splashing through puddles. For once, she didn't care about appearances. When she got into their old, beat-up sedan, the warmth of the heater and Maddie's cheerful humming felt like more comfort than she'd ever known in her mansion full of empty rooms. As they drove, Daniel didn't ask who she was, or why she was stranded. He didn't treat her like the powerful CEO everyone else saw, he treated her like a person. That humility, that genuine care, shook her more than she wanted to admit. Halfway through the ride, Maddie dug into her backpack and pulled out a granola bar. "Here," she said sweetly, "in case you're hungry." Evelyn accepted it with trembling hands. No business deal, no award, no recognition had ever felt as meaningful as that small, innocent gesture. When they finally reached Evelyn's penthouse, Daniel was about to drive away. But something inside her refused to let them just disappear from her life. "Wait," she said softly, her hand on the car door. You don't know what you've done for me tonight. People think I'm strong, but, the truth is, I've been carrying everything alone for so long. And tonight, I thought I'd finally break." Her eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, for stepping forward when no one else did." Daniel gave a small, humble smile. Sometimes, the hardest battles aren't in boardrooms or battlefields. They're the ones inside us. You don't have to fight them alone. The word struck her deeper than he could have known. That night changed Evelyn. She stayed in touch with Daniel and Maddie. Slowly, the cold walls around her heart began to crack. She started showing up for dinners at their small apartment, laughing with Maddie over puzzles, listening to Daniel's quiet wisdom. For the first time in years, she wasn't just surviving. She was living. Months later, Evelyn made a bold decision. She created a foundation in Maddie's name, supporting single parents who worked tirelessly to give their children hope. She told the press it was her most important business venture, but in truth, it was far more personal. Because one stormy night, when the world walked away, one man stepped forward. And that act of kindness reminded a lonely CEO what it truly meant to be human.